Good day, everyone. Today, I am presenting on the paper Research in the Teaching of Speaking by Michael McCarthy and N. O'Keefe. The paper reviews the following 6 sections. So in the first section of spoken corpora, it has been shown that the size of English spoken corpora has increased. And specifically, corpora now include Englishes of Hong Kong, New Zealand, Singapore, Great Britain, and the other countries as shown here. Another aspect of spoken corpora touched on in the paper talks about the debate of whether we should use native speaker spoken corpora as models for teaching English. And the answer seems to be no, because non-native speakers can never master and never own culture-specific varieties of spoken language. Therefore, teaching them using native speaker spoken corpora can be undermining. So what kind of spoken corpora can we use then? Researchers have suggested that we should use spoken corpus of English as lingua franca or spoken corpus of expert user English. In the next part of spoken corpora, it also talks about the relevant data for input. So there is a need for a description of spoken grammar and vocabulary based on evidence of spoken corpora rather than as deviations from written norms. However, this begs the question of what should be the basic grammatical unit of spoken language. So researchers have suggested that clause and phrase-based units can be the basic units of spoken language or fixed chunks of various kinds. This is because well-formed sentences are rarely found in conversations. In the next section, section 2 of the paper, it talked about the authenticity and spoken materials. So it's been found that dialogues for classroom use are scripted, lack core spoken language features, and usually follow an unrealistic 2-part question-answer sequences without any follow-up. Therefore, spoken materials used in classrooms are usually not authentic. So to understand more about speaking in classrooms, various types of analysis and perspectives have been used. And in the first discourse analysis, it's been found that in classrooms, the IRF exchange structure is usually used, and this includes initiation, response, and follow-up. So this structure has been criticized because learners continue to remain very passive. However, this structure can still be useful to teach speaking if teachers offer more participation rights to students, more peer-to-peer interaction, and expose students to teachers' use of follow-up moves with explicit guidance on usage of responsive moves. So with more responding and more follow-up moves and practice, there can be an increase in the listenership of students. And that means that the engagement in the discourse, as well as their listening and speaking skills, can improve. So another way to look at and analyze speaking tasks in classrooms could be conversation analysis. So CA is a way of analyzing conversation by attending to the fine details of talk. The advantage of using CA could be that it clarifies how the design and implementation of speaking tasks can be improved, but at the same time, a disadvantage of CA is that it doesn't show how speaking ability can develop over time because it's a local kind of analysis. So the third way to approach speaking tasks in classrooms could be the connective approach. So teachers can design and execute tasks for increasing spoken fluency, complexity, and accuracy. So to increase complexity and fluency, pre-task planning is important, and to increase accuracy and complexity, online planning is important. At the same time, recent studies have also shown that repetition and recycling have an influence on fluency, complexity, and accuracy as well. So another way to look at speaking tasks in classrooms would be through the Vygotskian perspective. Vygotsky introduced the concept of the Zone of Proximal Development, or ZPD. And with this concept, it's been shown that scaffolding is important as cognitive support for learners. So traditionally, scaffolding has been viewed as the expert novice format, but recent studies have also shown that peer-to-peer scaffolding can be equally important. So some researchers want to warn that ZPD should be viewed as an open-ended opportunity for unanticipated development and unpredictability rather than a closed-ended territory of learning. So in the next section of the paper talked about descriptive frameworks in the teaching of speaking. So some descriptive frameworks include systemic functional linguistics, SFL, and exchange structure analysis. So SFL is useful to understand and analyze speaking because it provides a framework to analyze key aspects of a spoken text. And exchange structure analysis is useful because it focuses on moment-by-moment processes of interaction and context. Other frameworks that can be used to understand speaking could be CA as mentioned above, critical discourse analysis, CDA, and speech act theory and pragmatics. So CA is useful because language tasks can be developed to explore features of conversation. CDA is useful because it allows classrooms to focus on the notion of power and gatekeeping rules in spoken interactions. And speech act theory and pragmatics is useful because it focuses on microstructures of conversations, and it offers teaching points in terms of highlighting appropriateness of utterances, negotiation of situations, and it also provides a framework for performance of speech acts. So the fifth section of the paper talked about the spoken language materials that can be used in the classroom. So when teachers want to use spoken data as materials, they should do the following 4 steps. And when teaching spoken language, some features or aspects of spoken language that can be taught include macro speaking skills, micro speaking skills, as well as conversational rules, structure and strategies, functions and meaning in conversation, and social and cultural contexts. Moreover, the traditional aspects of spoken language shouldn't be forgotten, such as pronunciation, stress patterns and intonation, but it should be taught alongside lexical grammar, conversational strategies, discourse level features, and situational contexts. So the very last section of the paper talked about the teaching of distinct genres of spoken interaction. And the genres introduced in the paper are small talk, discussions, and narratives. So these genres typically occur in conversations but are rarely taught in classrooms. So to conclude, the researchers mentioned that future research needs to be done to explore the proper social and cultural contextualization of speaking activities and the role of technology in teaching speaking. So I have come to the end of the paper. Thank you.